What's up, people out there, man? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for checking out another video of episode 2 of 5 Degrees. A lot to unpack here as we got a full agenda for everyone. But, we can't obviously start it off without introducing ourselves. So I'm going to let my brother here introduce himself again.
Yeah, man. Welcome back to who's ever watching. I'm Costco. Can't wait to get started on episode 2. 5 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Again, I'm King. So definitely got a lot to unpack here. It's been a fun couple of 2 weeks. What you been up to lately?
Man, nothing, man. Just working. At the high school I work at, I'm the assistant AD, and our girls basketball team just played in the state championship just yesterday. So that's what I've been gearing up for the past week, and then it was fun watching them play.
Did they win?
No, we lost by 5, but it's a lot to take away from that. It's, I blame the refs, but but yeah, well, no, they had a hard fought season. They were undefeated until that game, so they ended the season 25-1, heartbreaker. But would have liked to have been state champions, but it is what it is.
Who did they play? What team?
Man, some school from close to Roanoke, Lower Botetourt. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I wish they was able to do if they had the budgets at the high school level? Let them play for the states and then have like an ultimate like full blown tournament, like the how college is for the D1, D2, D3, and let them go at it again. Play high schools from around the country. I think that'll be cool, but high schools ain't probably got the money for that. But
No,
another topic for a different day.
you got the big schools who can take on that, but not the little small ones.
But update on y'all. If y'all don't know, I'm a fundraiser for UConn. So a lot of it, as y'all probably are paying attention, if you are sports fans, our UConn's men's team is gearing up for March Madness. Um, Today is Selection Sunday, so it's surprising that we actually did the meeting today. But UConn's about to gear up here. Women are predicted one of the 6 teams to make and hoist that trophy. The men's team it's a bit up and down, but they're gonna get it together. As Dan Hurley will say, we're a March team, and the referees are different than the Big East. So that's our introduction. We're gonna get into our first topic because I have to look up the girl's name, but high school players getting paid today. And getting brand deals. It's a girl right now, if y'all don't know, that just signed a deal. I think it was with Under Armour or something. I can't remember her name. So let me look up her name real quick. Okay, there's a few of them. Yeah, it's a lot of men and a couple of men, and then a couple of girls. The girl who I was alluding to was Kalina Smith, one of the top-rated basketball prospects in the class of 2027, signed an NIL deal with Adidas. So, high school players at this helm of sports right now, if you are a top player, I truly believe you will be getting compensated. You you will be at a point where you're making enough money to help your family situation now, which is I agree with it. I do say it's a cool thing, but I just hope those players don't have those people, the money hungry people around them, and it's like you putting all the weight on a 16-year-old. She don't graduate until 2027. So what? She's a sophomore.
Yeah.
So a sophomore signed by Adidas. How do you feel about that with her being a sophomore and she already got a brand deal 2 years removed, 2 years, not even even a senior.
Man, my honest opinion with NIL is a love-hate thing because, the student athlete provides so much money for, when you think about college for universities, but in high school, it's a it's kind of I'll go back and forth because you have kids who aren't old enough to even make financial decisions. Like, I don't think you can open a bank account that's your own until you're 18. So for this young lady to be 16 years old, signed by Adidas, her parents or whoever her guardian is in control of her money. So
Yeah,
that can lead to a faulty relationship because she doesn't have basically any power over what she's earning. And then again, you got a student athlete in essence making more money than all the teachers in her high school.
that's a
So
good point.
so what compels her to then respect and listen to them when she can be like, I'm making more than you. Why I haven't even graduated high school yet and I made more money than you. So it's like, why should I listen to you? So it's a love hate thing because I feel like athletes should be compensated to what they bring to the sport. But depending on age, it's like, does a 16-year-old need to be sponsored by Under Armour or Adidas or Nike or Jordan? Like, do they need that right then and there? Now, when they graduate high school, you know, fair game because then they're able to control their money. I think we need
Yeah.
to teach our athletes financial literacy first before we just throw them a pile of cash and tell them, "Hey, this is yours. Do it as you please." How do you feel?
I feel I totally feel like it's one of them situations like you said, and it's like you sign a brand deal. I don't expect that brand deal to be anything less than six figures. And like you said, outside of the teachers, you're making the most money as a as that person that go to that school. You're making more money than the principal, probably, the counselors, the teachers, the bus drivers, the janitor, everything. Where it's just like I fear for her in the sense of like I hope her mom and dad do the right thing with
Hmm.
her money, but also in the sense of the money hungry people, the money hungry friends, that teacher that might love you, who been supporting you, them people at the school that you do have a relationship with are going to try to utilize you as their get rich quick scheme.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, but the decisions I was making at 16 is
Hmm.
different from the decisions I was making at 30 now. That's that's why I just feel like if you was to think she was to go to her mom or her dad right now, I need $20,000 right now. I want to go splurge real quick. If they was to tell her no, do she has the right to say give me my money, or just because she's underage, they have a say so on what she can bring out, what she can take out, and stuff like that. That's my thing about it. It's just more she's underage and they're gonna put some kind of restriction on her to not splurge. But I'm like, I always used to say this, especially in high school, man. In high school, we always wearing Aeropostale and American Eagle and Hollister, stuff that didn't really cost that much if you had
Hmm.
to say it. You was a polo person. That polo cost way more than American Eagle and all that stuff. Her pulling up to school and the designer stuff.
Hmm.
Where I know Adidas is probably like you have to wear our stuff every time on that court. But when she's not on the court, she probably ain't wearing no regular stuff. She probably pulling up in the nicest clothes where it's just like I hate the world we live in, but you know how society was in high school, where it's like the people with the less fortunate was getting judged for what they was wearing,
Hmm.
and you gonna have a lot of people kind of find a hatred towards her just because she's an athlete and she's willing to take care. She's willing to get something that most high school people hasn't done yet. She is one of the pioneers for high school players getting paid. I truly believe it's going to get to a point because I don't know how it is in the state of Virginia, but I know some other states, kids can start getting recruited their freshman year of high school. You can commit to a high school, you commit to a college your freshman year, and then as the 4 year goes and you get more offers, you can obviously what's the word? Decommit, I would guess, or not sign the national letter of intent, whatever. I do truly believe that it's going to be interesting because she signed to Adidas. So I'm like, when you go to college, are they going to force you to sign with an Adidas school? That's my question, because it's not a lot of top colleges right now
That
that
has
sign with
Adidas
Adidas.
as sponsors.
Mostly everybody is signed with Nike.
That's a
And
good
I'm trying
point
to think
because
of right.
majority of the schools that now that I think about it is either Nike or Under Armour. So it's like when you think of it, are they going to push her? Are they going to influence her to an Adidas school, or is her endorsement just until she ends, then until she gets out, graduates from high school? But when you think about it, you said something when you was like, she pulled up to the school. That's another thing you got to worry about. She has money now, so what is she pulling up to the school in?
Yeah.
So you telling me as no hating, you got grown people who worked their life to get to what they got. You got this young teenager pulling up in something that the principal can't even afford. That starts to spew haters and spew jealousy and all that type of stuff. So it's like I don't fault the student athlete or Adidas one bit because as a brand you have to get to the best athletes when you get a chance. So trying to get them in high school, you can build their brand while they're building their brand. So you can,
Yep.
coexist while they're growing and becoming a better athlete to then sell them and pitch them in a different light. And if you can get to them before Nike can get to them, you have an advantage. So I don't fault it anyway. I just think it's a very rocky and shaky, plateau to be on because to be so
Oh
young
yeah.
with so much money, it can spew some things.
Yeah. It can, like I said, it can be a burden to some players and a
Hmm.
level of stress for them because it's feel like they're the ticket out. Which I truly believe, like you said, in financial literacy. If I was that teacher at that school, that counselor at that school, I would definitely get her and her parents into like some type of financial literacy class or something or program, just to protect her brand, but also protect her investment.
Hmm.
Um, because athletes, you're not going to be an athlete forever. You're going to go through injuries and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to put injuries on her or nothing, but um, the
She got
harder
to be
you
prepared.
play, the more the risk that you're going to get injured. And we all know this. Every 9 times out of 10, every athlete go through some injury. It might not be major, but you can. I hope that she's protecting herself and her parents and are investing that money the correct way for her future. That's
Hmm.
if I'm pretty sure Adidas is offering them a bag as well. A couple other high school players I wanted to actually get to. Everybody noticed and everybody was shocked, but AJ Dybantsa. Um, if you don't know who that is, you live under a rock. But he's the number one high school basketball player, signed to BYU, where there was stories of him getting like 5 million to sign with BYU. BYU has the
Hmm.
money, so they basically went all in. He actually plays at a high school in Utah
Utah,
Prep.
yeah.
So he's right there. His high school is actually down the street from BYU. But he got a couple of mil from BYU, but he also just signed with Nike, the plateau of all plateaus in brands. He got
Hmm.
$4 million from Nike. I I'm happy he got the money, but like I said, you're giving an 18-year-old kid who who is most likely just going to do 1 year in college, where he was making enough money to just go to the G League and make a little extra money, but that money wasn't competing with the college money because of NIL. But he's another player. Any opinion on AJ Dybantsa?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you number one player, overall player in the nation for his high school class, the projected number one pick for his draft class. Out of all the schools that were recruiting him to end up at BYU, who isn't known as a basketball power, it raises, in my opinion, some questions because it's like, dude, you could have went anywhere, but you went
Yeah.
to BYU. Like, come on, man. I mean, but that's the thing now. That's what's wrong with like schools aren't really recruiting the way they used to anymore because you have the transfer portal, you got the NIL. So it's like athletes are staying with their original school longer because you can go get paid somewhere else. And then schools aren't really recruiting high school athletes because why would I pay this kid when I can go get someone who's been playing a college sport for the past 2 years or a year and a half? I can go pay them and bring them here. So they're bringing in the older transfers. So I mean, he went and got paid. I don't fault him for that because you got to get your money. Especially he's going to be one and done. That's written on the wall because he has a great season. He's going to be the number one pick. And why stick around longer than when you have to if you can go be a franchise changing player in the league and get $30 million. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't fault him for getting paid, but I do think it's kind of crazy that he chose BYU of all schools.
Do you know why they say he chose BYU?
Wasn't it something with the coach?
It was something with the coach, but I think he is growing his faith in the Mormon community.
Okay.
So
And I know BYU's yeah.
So I think it was the coach, but everybody's saying he didn't want to go to a quote unquote party school because he wanted to focus mostly on basketball. And BYU isn't a party school because it has a Mormon faith, which is interesting. That's what I'm just saying. I love it because these number one players don't have to sign with the Dukes no more. They don't have to sign with the Kentuckys no more.
They're going
They
wherever.
don't have to. They're going to. In my mind, they're going to the bigger schools for the sake of the history that tied to it, but it's also the coaching. John Calipari was able to get players to come to Arkansas because they care about him more than the actual brand and the name on the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody go anywhere. Every coach is now it's a free fall. But I feel bad for high school players now because you're gonna have to go to that small school, get your stats up, and go to get transferred to a bigger school. And that would obviously help us transfer in to our segment about NIL at the collegiate level, where, like I mentioned, it's gonna be a wild, wild west, which they obviously been alluding to, where it's like semi-pro now.
Basically.
And that's what it basically is. It to a point where there isn't gonna be a player in college basketball, college football to ever say they're going to stay all 4 years at a school when I hate to say is players are getting poached as the season are going on.
Mm-hmm.
That is degrading to the sport where they're in season right now and you are the assistant coach at such and such college and you see him not getting play time. So you're like, hey, come over here, you get play time, and it's only the 10th game in the season. But like you said, coaches are not going to go after high school talent anymore. They're just going to hit that transfer portal to that kid at a smaller school who put up 16, 17 points that can buy into the system and know they come into a school where they're not going to be the number one guy, but they're going to be one of the guys. It just, I don't know. And it's just like, if y'all don't know, I'm not sure you know too, Costco. The NCAA is going through a lawsuit right now about to back pay all the athletes to I think 2010 or something. I'm glad Reggie Bush get his Heisman back though.
I got my opinions about that because it should have never been taken.
Hey, but Reggie Bush said it. They was throwing everything at him.
I mean, yeah, but you got, yeah, that's, yeah.
it's one of those things like, damn, y'all just be doing all this stuff to over like for 10 years later, it's a whole different thing. But
Yeah, but go ahead.
nah, what you say?
The Heisman Trust is supposed to be a whole different entity from the NCAA. So you're not even supposed to go off of what the NCAA is ruling without a full, like a legit investigation. Because
Yeah.
that situation, Reggie Bush, someone supposedly gave his parents money to buy a house. If Reggie never lived in said house, never touched the money of said house, how can you then confiscate his Heisman that he earned, from being arguably one of the best college athletes in the history? So it's like, why are we, basically punishing him for something they couldn't prove fully? And it's like, it's Reggie Bush. In college, who knows how much he could have made if he really wanted to make some money? He was legit the biggest name in the sport in 2005.
He won that. He won that unanimously. There was nobody getting close to the votes at that time because
No,
he was the pinnacle of like
college sports.
even if it was NIL back then, I still wouldn't believe most of y'all colleges couldn't afford him because he was a household name for like 2 years. He could have got $100 million out of one of them schools. I'm sorry.
Man, come out of high school, he could have probably been paid $25 million just to choose a school.
Because ESPN would have paid them like $5 million to go live on their platform to announce that where he going.
Yeah, he'd been like LeBron James in a decision, like a whole 30 minutes for nothing.
Who actually sit there and watch them things? I hate when players do that. What the hell are you going to ESPN and announce? Like Dybantsa, he did his announcement on ESPN. For what? Because they paid him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another topic for another day. I always want to talk. It's Reggie Bush, but there's so many other college players that had issues. James Winston with the whole, they gave him a steak at a steakhouse and the NCAA kind of fined him or banned him from like a couple of games for that. There's so many players out there. We all know, but
Chase Young with Ohio State, they suspended him for 3 or 4 games because someone bought his girlfriend a plane ticket to one of his playoff games. Right, dude. That has nothing to do with him. So, but you're gonna punish him because someone he knows did something for someone someone else he knows. But it's all redundant.
Yeah, I used to hear stories about, especially when I started working in college athletics. High school players, you can't take anything from a college coach. You can't take no type of paraphernalia, nothing. On that visit, you might take pictures with the gear, but you can't take nothing home.
Mm-mm.
So it's just like, damn, like it was a crazy time, but I'm glad stuff has changed. Evolution has happened around collegiate sports. But sorry, we got on a tangent. But get back to NIL stuff.
You can see how we feel about the money.
Coming from two former athletes that thought their shot was going to come, so I'm always going to have that athlete mindset over everything else. As someone who once was, but we see an increase in the transfer portal too, where it went from 300-400 people in the transfer portal to this year. I think they had almost 3,000 people into the transfer portal. How do you, especially in college football? I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I hate the transfer portal. Not completely, but the way it's ran. I feel like you should only be allowed to transfer twice. And I feel like it should only be open at the end of the year. I hate the mid-season transfer portal. Like, I should not be able to say I'm gonna throw my name in the transfer portal while my team is going through games and the season's nowhere near over. Like, to me, that's stupid. Because then you can get illegal tampering. All right. So I just feel like the way they handle transfer portal needs to be constructed in a way, kind of like a off-season type deal. Like the NFL has the free agency. It should, if you want to let kids transfer, call it the college free agency, and then they got a certain window to hit the transfer portal, go see schools, and then commit. But I feel like they should only have like NFL players only have to do 3 years before they get drafted. So why am I letting you go to 4, 5, 6 different colleges before you can, you know? So it's just like the control of the sport needs to come back. But I don't like the NCAA board, so it's like, yeah, I don't like how they handle
I'm
things.
like I want them to implement rules around it with the transfer portal. Did you hear that they announced that if you did a JUCO year, you have an extra year eligibility that don't actually go towards your actual full D1 eligibility?
I heard that. So they, in essence, get 5 years of a college sport.
There's players in their 6th, 7th year. You got players that are our age playing college football. You know that, right? There's a kicker right now. I don't think he plays anymore. I think his last year eligibility was last year. He was a kicker for Clemson. He went and got a job, an actual regular 9-to-5 job. He had a year eligibility left.
I heard that.
And Dabo Sweeney called him and he came back and played. Dude got a family and kids. And you still playing college football. But that's my thing with it. Outside of the people playing 5, 6 years, it's just like you went through 3 seasons injured. Then you get 2 years of eligibility back. And you 26, bro. Let it go.
Yeah, man.
Let it go.
That's
you
like
26
the tight end
playing against what?
My bad. That's like the tight end from Miami. I think he was in college for 8 years. I think he tore his ACL twice. He did a whole bunch of damage to his legs and had to miss some years. But I think this past season was like his 7th or 8th year. So it's like, when are we gonna say you too old? You basically a grown man out there playing with kids.
That's another topic. They faulting women sports, but not faulting men's men's sports when it comes to like the whole age thing. There's stories that's going around where they're just like, you got these 22-year-old women playing against 18-year-olds. I was just like, but the men do it too. You got 26 years old men in college basketball, college football playing against 17, 18-year-olds. I don't think that's my thing. I don't think the NCAA can make an age requirement. That's why they just have rules of just like, I think they need to crack down on the injury eligibility. Because if you don't know, they say if you play more than 5 games and you get injured, you can actually redshirt and you will get an extra year. If you play 6 games and get injured, you forfeit that year. So you don't get an extra year. They need to do more something around like, if you get injured, don't matter if it's the beginning of the season or the end of the season, you cannot afford them people extra year eligibility because they got injured. I'm sorry. Shout out to the players who get injured and still get to play 2 extra years. Man, you played. It's a contact sport. You're going to get injured, especially in football. You know what we signed up for. You signed that waiver when you decide to play for that college. Yeah, they're going to cover your medical expenses, but God, bro, you get injured 1 year, come back, play a full season, get injured again, then you get 2 extra years or year, whatever. And then now you 22. Go ahead and declare. You better go to Canada and play some Canada football or something. I don't know. But you gotta do something. Go play the arena football.
I think arena football is done, bro. I don't think they're doing that no more.
They trying to bring it back. it's other things out there. It's just
Got the UFL.
UFL. They got Canadian leagues where you go up to Canada, build your resume
My
up,
pro.
and there's so many out there. Hey, you can get some footage and send it to NFL teams. But yeah, so that's how we feel on the whole NIL stuff. Since we talk about football, easier transition to get away from college. And our next topic is NFL free agency. A lot have happened this free agency since the Super Bowl. If y'all didn't know, I got the chance to I didn't go to the Super Bowl, but I was in New Orleans that weekend, and all I heard was "Fly, Eagles, fly," and it pissed me off because I'm not a fan at all. What's up, Pastor? What's some any signings kind
Man.
of threw you off?
I mean, for those who don't know, the NFL football, that's my love. So the NFL, everything, I feel like I'm a miniature Adam Schefter. So I'll be breaking the news to my friends and all that. But out of all the moves that happened, two of the moves that surprised me, I would say, would be DK Metcalf getting traded to the Steelers for
Yeah.
he got traded to the Steelers and then he signed a deal, for 132 million. I'm like, yo, the Steelers don't pay nobody. And for them to pay DK without a quarterback, weird. All right. And the other move that surprised me is really Myles Garrett. Like, you've been in Cleveland your whole career, dude. You're one of the best defensive players to play the game. Why are you sticking around Cleveland? Like, I get they made you the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the game. You're making $40 million annually. Like, 123.5 million guaranteed. Like, that's a lot. But man, do you want to win? Because your quarterback situation is also terrible. Watson ain't coming back. So it's like, what are we doing? I mean, those are two of the biggest moves that surprised me. Myles Garrett going back to the Browns, and then DK ending up with the Steelers. Because I know he had to have some type of influence on where he went, and to go to a team without a quarterback. It's like, I know, is it the money or is it winning? What about you?
That was one of them. That was one of them where I was just like, DK, you could have went anywhere, to be honest. For him to get a contract like that, I don't know what's the historical numbers, but when have a player ever got traded somewhere and got so much money? I'm trying to think. But I've heard stories about certain players when their contract is up and they're fighting to get an extension, but also more money. They say they wait till a certain time period before they announce that, or they hold out signing a contract because they know they can get more money out of people, get more money out of the organization. So I feel that's why Myles Garrett did that. I truly believe he needed to be on a winning team. He led in sacks for the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, bro, you like you said, you want to win or you just want the money? But that's also another conversation where we are at the point in the fandom of NFL where players care more about the money than winning. And that's always been a topic I truly believe, for me. Because if I was a player, I'd go take that lower money just so I can get my chance at a Super Bowl. But Myles Garrett, we shout out to you. You should come on our podcast. We'd love to talk about it if you ever watch this. But I know free agency signing really like caught me off guard, other than Deebo Samuel's going to the Commanders.
Oh, that was writing on the wall, man.
I ain't never seen the Commanders get a caliber or a receiver of his stature.
You ain't never
my
seen the
life.
Commanders have a caliber of quarterback as Jaden Daniels. They're in a whole new light right now.
That's what is scary. Because are we at the point in life where the Washington Commanders are going to be relevant.
I mean, they just played in the NFC Championship, so I mean, it's only up from there, I guess.
And I was like, when that came across my when that came across like my ESPN, we was all at work and we was all talking about it. And I was just sitting there just listening to them talk about it, and I'm just like, Commanders, bro. I think Jalen Daniels, he's a dog. I love it. He changing that organization around. Now he can actually sell some tickets. If you don't know, I worked in ticket sales for professional teams, and the Commanders was always hiring. They always had a lot of turnover. They couldn't keep people to save their life, just like they couldn't keep their players.
They got new ownership, though.
Yeah, Magic Johnson. It's crazy. Every time Magic Johnson become an owner of a team, they end up doing good.
Smart business,
I'm gonna go ahead and put my money on it. I'm not gonna put a lot of money. I probably put $20, maybe $50 on it. Give it 2 more years. Commanders gonna be in the Super Bowl. Hey, I stamp this today. Because if you don't know Magic Johnson history, I'm gonna give you a history lesson. I worked for LAFC, Los Angeles Football Club. He is one of the owners. When he got there, we ended up winning a championship ring. I got one myself. I wish I was able to show y'all. But outside of that, that's soccer. Magic Johnson also owns the Dodgers. I think they've had two World Series since he's been the owner. So, Commanders, y'all doing something right. Magic Johnson putting that winning spirit in y'all. Keep doing y'all thing. But that was one of mine. And then Cooper Kupp. I feel like LA, they was on their outs with Cooper. He did his thing, and he ran his course with them. So I was surprised, but he went to Seattle. So who's Seattle quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. There we go. So those are the two things that only like really, really took me by storm. But I do want to talk about, if I don't know, if you watched the last episode, we talked about our favorite teams. So this part of the segment, we're going to talk about some additions on our favorite teams. So he's going to talk about his Patriots, and I'm talking about some additions for the Broncos, because they do shit. Sorry. But they do nothing in free agency. Yeah, we needed some offensive firepower, and they didn't do nothing. They got all fucking bullshit. BS, if you ask me. Go ahead.
It really wasn't too much, for real out there to shop with, So that's why with the Patriots, I mean, we had the most cap space in the league with almost 130 million, and we really just went defense, which I have no problem with because I feel like defense wins championships. But I would love for Vrabel to get some help for Drake May. Like, we need some receivers. We need a running back. We need some offensive line. But I think they want to address that portion in the draft. With all that being said, we have the 4th overall pick. So I'm hoping, the guy from Colorado, number 12, he can't wear 12, in New England, but I'm hoping we draft him with that 4th pick. I really love Travis Hunter, the way he plays the game, his love for the game. So if we're going to do anything, that's what I'm waiting on. So once the draft is here, I'm going to be sitting there front center for the first round, waiting on that 4th pick. Because I think that up the top 3 teams, I think, the Giants might take a quarterback, So I'm not, too worried about the Titans taking Travis Hunter because, Abdul Carter might be their pick. You got Cam Ward. So it's interesting. I'm just, hoping, Travis Hunter falls to the Patriots because I really would like to see him and Christian Gonzalez, line up at corner opposite sides of the field.
Oh, yeah. Big fan of Travis. Shout out Travis. Man, once in a lifetime. Do you truly believe the NFL will allow him to play both sides of the ball? Because they saying he's going to have to hone in on one because we can't allow you to play both sides. Too many snaps in the NFL.
I mean, it's like Deion Sanders said. He has to go to the right coach. He has to go to a coach that's willing to allow him to do that. Now, being said, in the NFL, he doesn't have to play, 60 snaps at receiver and 40 snaps at DB. DB could be his main position, but then you just write packages in the red zone for him or certain spots of the field where he gets in that receiver. So he can have 60, 70 snaps at DB in the game and 20 at receiver. I think the team that drafts him has to be creative and allow him to be the athlete he is. Because if you don't, he's not gonna want to be there.
And that's my thing. What would be his main position? Because he can do both in the game. So I'm just like, is he added depth at the receiver room, or is he the number one guy? He's number one in DB. What position you really think they're gonna really have him at? Because I truly believe to see the best out of Travis and us to see the level of athlete and the level of talent he has, I truly believe I want to see him more at wide receiver.
I mean, that's a good point. Because he can play. We've seen at Colorado, he can play both positions easily. It's like second nature to him. But in my honest opinion, I think corner is the more natural fit for him because of body frame.
Yeah.
He's so athletic that he can adjust to anything. And I think at corner he follows the receiver better. Then playing receiver, it's a lot on the body because you're the main target of a defense when you're, as athletic as he is. With his first year in Colorado, him having that liver damage, he was targeted. So it's like, I think corner would be the best position.
I'm like I said, I'm a Travis Hunter fan. As a sports fan, as a person of color, I hate to say that, but and somebody who knows Travis' story, who watch him on Instagram and TikTok, and then was watching him before he went to Colorado when he was with Jackson State and following Deion and trusting Deion. I watched a couple of Colorado games this year, and him at DB, I watched him get beat a couple of times. All DBs get beat. They all do. Nobody's perfect. But I truly believe his level of talent and for us to maximize him as a person, as an athlete, I truly believe wide receiver. He is must-see TV. And if he go to a team that's struggling with getting people putting butts in seats, as y'all know, that's the way of the business. He gonna put some butts in seats. So, outside of Travis, I'm a Broncos fan. We didn't need much on defense because we was the top 5 in defense last year in defensive rating. So we didn't need much on the defensive side. I kind of mad that Cooper, he went to Seattle because they were saying like he was one of the receivers the Broncos was trying to get. I felt like he would have been a good addition. We actually need some strong receivers. We went 85 last year, but I truly believe if we get another caliber of receiver, we can be to the next level. I can just imagine him and Bo, and obviously him being the main target. I don't know how much wear and tear is on Cooper legs, but it's always good to have a veteran player. They added depth. Trent Sherfield, he's probably not going to be. They say like he's going to be a special teams guy. They added a tight end, but they didn't really make no crazy signings. They're going off of a lot of the players from last year. I can't remember what draft pick they have, but we're gonna keep adding pieces. The Broncos have been rebuilding for the last 5 years. But we on the up and up. We made the playoffs this year. Hopefully we make it next year and not get knocked out in the first round. But we're gonna see a lot of better and stuff like that. Anything else to add for the NFL agency before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, something to watch. The Bengals with their 2 wide receivers, what's going to happen with that? They franchise tag T. Higgins for the second year in a row. I know he has to be tired of that because I know he wants to get paid. He deserves to get paid. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can come up with a resolution towards him getting paid because you know they got to pay Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase might demand he's going to demand top of the receiver market, which I think the current wide receiver highest paid wide receiver is making $35 million, and that's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So Jamar Chase is going to want to beat him out. So is it going to be 40 million, 37? And then if you pay him 37 to 40 million, what's left for Higgins? So it's going to be interesting to see what the Bengals are going to do about their 2-star receivers. You got to pay both.
Yeah, so actually just looked it up. I wanted to see what their cap space was. They say the Cincinnati Bengals cap space is $26 million.
Well, they ain't got
And
no
you
money.
said so it's just like they wouldn't even have enough to even make Jamar Chase the max. So
they will.
This is what I was just.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I truly believe this is gonna cause a rift a little bit, because you got two top receivers, and they're at the pinnacle of their career, and somebody's gonna ask for more money. And I'm not gonna lie, as a Jamar Chase fan, but also somebody who watched T. Higgins play as well, they would give it to Jamar first, then they do with T, and see where it goes from there. But what you think?
So that's what's interesting because if you watch the Bengals last year at the end of the season, excuse me, when they were trying to make their playoff run, T. Higgins was the one coming up with all the plays.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. T. Higgins is 26, Jamar Chase is 25. They both have to get paid, and I think that's why the Bengals are letting Trey Hendrickson, scout for his own trade because they know in order to keep Joe Burrow happy, he got to have weapons. And if you don't have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase is going to be double covered forever. So I mean, with that, they excuse me, they drafted both players, so they get to go over the cap without a true penalty. Like it's gonna go into their luxury, but that 26 million it really won't affect them because since they drafted both of them players, they can sign them to something like a rookie extension, basically what it would be.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're looking at $70 million probably going to just two people, and that takes a toll on the NFL franchise. Now, be it the NFL salary cap is as high as it's ever been in league history, I think like at 220 million. But the Bengals have a lot of choices to make because if you don't sign both, I highly doubt Joe Burrow wants to stick around when his contract is up.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now. T. Higgins is making 26 mil, Jamar Chase making 21.
Mm-hmm.
They say T. Higgins, he actually got zero. He ain't got nothing guaranteed.
Nah, because his franchise tag is the only thing he got, and it's going to pay him $26.2 million for this season alone. After that, he's a free agent.
Yeah, and then Jamar Chase, he at 21, so his is guaranteed. But that's gonna be interesting. I'm really looking to see how that goes because I know they cool. I know they homeboys. I know they truly need to sit down with each other and be like, we want to win or we want money. And
True.
The Bengals got a lot to deal with, and and obviously, if the Bengals can't match it after this season, he can go get the max amount of money somewhere else, and then the Bengals will probably have to find somewhere not of the caliber of T, but somewhere who you can make both sides, like you can make it enough for you all, like enough for them, because the Bengals ain't do that well this year. But I know Joe, didn't he get injured this year, or was that last year?
He came back from injury this year.
Yeah. So I don't know. That'd be interesting. I'm ready to see how that goes as well. But
they're also in the hardest division in NFL, in my opinion. The AFC North is hands down the hardest division. Those teams, no matter their record, they step up to play one another. The Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns were terrible, but they beat the Steelers, they beat the Ravens. So it's like that division steps up when they got to play one another. So in order to compete and make the playoffs, you got to have a nice offense.
Of offense, I don't know if y'all know this, but I don't know how I feel about this whole Aaron Rodgers situation.
Retire.
That's what I'm saying.
Straight up, retire.
You had your time.
It's over.
Aaron.
No hard feelings, no hatred, but it's over.
Them boys good, man. You had your time. I think he got a Super Bowl. He got one, right?
Yeah, he got one with the Packers. I think it's 2010.
Yeah, he got one. Go ahead and let it go, Aaron. If you want to come on our podcast and talk about it, we're willing to listen and let you vent. But they talking about he trying to get signed by the Steelers. And I guess the Steelers are at a desperate need for a quarterback.
Yeah, they ain't got nobody. Justin Fields went to the Jets.
So it's just
they gonna bring Russell back?
They ain't got no choice.
You got a choice. No, my headphones. They should have brought Justin Jefferson back. Go with a younger quarterback.
He go to the Steelers. Who knows? And he just coming off an injury too.
Mm-hmm.
I think his body can't take no more. He think he LeBron of the NFL, bro. Let it go. There's not a lot of LeBron people. Your body ain't gonna last because he like what 40?
I think he's 40, 41.
Hey, you not Tom Brady, and I'm pretty sure you ain't on that regimen that Tom Brady was, brother.
He ain't vegan. He ain't vegan.
You was just in Jersey, so I know you was out there eating that pizza. Yeah. You ain't slick, Jack. But that's pretty much it on the NFL stuff. There's nothing, no other news. Cooper Rush just agreed to a 2-year deal with the Ravens. For what? I don't know. That's pretty much it. Because the free agency kind of like dying down now. But
yeah, because it wasn't too many names available. This was a year of a lot of people just re-signing with their current teams.
People paying attention to that draft more than any free agency right now. That's truly me. That's what been me mostly with Cam Ward, Travis Hunter.
Who do you think go first?
The Raiders got the first pick, right?
No, the Titans, I believe.
Oh yeah, Titans. I support Cam and Shador. They got the same trainer. They trained the same way. They did all the camps together. But my thing is, who in the history of the Titans in their quarterback room, I'm trying to think, who the hell was the Titans quarterback?
What, bro?
I can't think of him. Who was a Titan quarterback? I can't think of. I'm literally having a brain.
Steve McNair, dude.
There we go. I couldn't think of him. Every time I hear the Titans, I think of damn, what's bro name? Oh my god, I hate when I get put on the spot. What's the running back name?
Eddie George.
No, he played for the Titans for a long time. What's his name? The Titans running back that he's been killing for a while.
Derrick Henry.
There we go.
Bruh.
I got a brain fart. I can't think of his name. There's so much going on sports-wise. You can't remember everybody's name but him. Like,
I thought you were thinking about somebody old, bruh.
No, I'm talking about now. I can't remember ever when the Titan was decent.
Chris Johnson years.
Chris Johnson, that's another one. I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. I just And that's the one thing I fault Shador. He's not very mobile. Cam is. Like Cam, he get out that pocket and run on you. Shador, I truly believe if Shador got more time on that line, he can let it fly as much as possible. So who go first? I would say Cam because he's a dual threat. He can be mobile and he can pass, and they both got a decent arm. I think Shador probably got him beat on the arm strength, but I think Cam Ward probably going first. But it all depends because I do think Dion is going to have a say so in who
definitely. He
drafts
already said
him.
that. He already
So
said that.
I don't even think it's a matter of who have what pick. It's about what team Dion think best fits Shador. So I don't even think Shador even cares about going 1, 2, or 3. He just needs to get in the right situation. So I think Cam, because Cam is probably nobody speaking on Cam's behalf and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think
that's pretty much it.
I think Dion will pull a Eli Manning if Shador gets drafted by the wrong team, but as he should. It's based on
Elaborate for
their success.
the fans.
Well, Eli Manning was, when he was in the draft, was then drafted by the San Diego Chargers. He told them he didn't want to play for him, and he won't go play for him, so they drafted him anyway, and he ended up a Giant. History, short and sweet. And Dion has said he knows who his son is not going to play for. So, I mean, as a father, with the stature that Deion Sanders has, why not, help your son out in a way that'll help lead to a successful career? Because for athletes, coaching is very important. If you go to the wrong coach, it can lead you down a path where your career to the masses is a failure. If you get the right coach,
Yep.
your career can be a success. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He got Bill Belichick and writes on the wall.
If y'all didn't know, now you know.
5 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 10. But 5 degrees.
Now we got to change the name to 10 degrees.
Yeah, I ain't going back to school.
You were already in school, so there's no going back unless you try to get 4.
I graduated in December, so boom. I ain't
That's
after
it.
that one. I'm done.
I actually just got the alert that the women's basketball selection Sunday just started. So we're gonna get to the next topic for the evening. So I don't know how much you've been paying attention to college basketball, but working in college athletics, and we ain't got no choice because that's what people want to talk about. So I'm gonna let you go first in your women's basketball Final Four predictions.
Let's get it going then. All right, so my Final Four, of course, you got South Carolina because Dawn Staley to me is very pivotal in the women's game. She's truly herself, and the way she coaches the girls, it don't matter who she got on that team, they're gonna fight for. So I got South Carolina, UConn, because that's why they got over there. Coach Gino Auriemma, he's gonna do what he gotta do to keep his team in school and his name relevant. So that's number 2. 3, USC. I think Juju right now might be the best female ball player, college or WNBA, and that's like if anybody I talk to, I tell them straight up, I wish she can go pro now because she's wasting away at USC. Like she needs to be able to make some some WNBA money and then earn the real dollars. So yeah, so you got South Carolina, UConn, USC, and then with my 4th team, I've been going back and forth between LSU.
LSU. What the hell?
Man, listen.
What the hell? I love Fly J and Anissa Morrow and Michaela Williams, but LSU.
I mean, listen, it's a love-hate thing. It's the coaching that I like to lean on. You feel me? And they have one of the best coaches too. So it's coaching comes in handy when you get into those games where you got to draw up certain plays, you got to put a certain player in this position, and a coach who knows, the X's and O's and their players are going to execute. So that's why I choose LSU because of the coaching.
All right, so go over your Final Four prediction again.
You got South Carolina, you got UConn, you got USC, and LSU. Now, who I want to win, I want Juju to win it all, just so because I know her winning it will elevate the game so much because the whole world went hoopla crazy when Caitlin Clark was doing what she was doing. Yeah, but I feel like Juju, she doesn't get enough media attention. Like she gets some, but for what the athlete she is, like she's close to breaking the scoring record for the first 2 years in college basketball.
She did already.
Oh, she did? Because they were saying
games.
it was going to happen in the tournament. But
nah, she did it already. She eclipsed Caitlin Clark for the first 2 years ever in college basketball. I think she's at 2,190 something. Caitlin was at like 2,000 and something.
Okay, so yeah, and, doing that in your first 2 years, that deserves more media hoopla. And I feel like she's left on the back burner because the whole world was on Caitlin Clark's coattail while the last 2 years in college, and then this year, while she was playing for the Fever. So it's like give Juju that same knowledge, and I think winning the women's Final Four would do
that. I'm a big Juju fan, but y'all have to stop with the stat peddling for her, man. Y'all up by 30 points. Why is she still in the game? And then y'all let her get 30, 40. I'm just like, yo, come on. But that's another topic for a day. I love to do a segment on Juju, comparing her to the other college women's basketball players. We all know who she's up against. We're going to do an episode about whoever wins the National Player of the Year in college basketball for women's. Talk about that too in the next episode or whatever episode we decide to. Stay tuned for that. But I'm going to derail here for my Final Four predictions as someone who I sit here and I digest college basketball all day because I'll be bored. I don't think I'm not going to put South Carolina there. They just got too many holes. They get locked up by the right people, by the right players. They don't have that. They don't have that it girl right now. It's supposed to be Chloe Kitts, but I watched her get her locked up and not do nothing against UConn. So, and I also watched South Carolina get beat by 30 points against two teams this year, UConn and UCLA. So it's a game of possession, it's a game of coaching. But if the player's not synced up with the coaches, I think they not. So my Final Four is UConn. UConn has I'm not gonna say they have a complete team. They have a lot of holes in their team. I'm not saying this because I work for UConn, but I watch their games and I sit here and talk about it. I sit here and listen to it. I watch videos all day. Paige can't do everything, but I got UConn in the Final Four. Paige Beckers, AZ Flood, Sarah Strong, they're big three right now. The only college basketball team with a big three where they all can give you 30 and 20, but it all depends off the shot on. So I'm going to say UConn. I'm going Texas. Texas is legit. Madison Booker. She can give you 30. I'm more concerned with her surrounding cast and them getting hot. I can't remember any other players that's probably around her. They got a big girl. I think she's like a center. Got an African name. I can't remember her name. But I'm going to do Texas because they look like a team that's really well. I'm going to go USC. We all know what Juju has done, but I'm going to have to shine some light to Kennedy Smith. If she can do her thing, Kiki Arieffin, she can do her thing. I feel like USC can be crazy. Damn, I'm kind of stuck on my last two. It's either UCLA or Notre Dame. Notre Dame with obviously Hannah Hidalgo. Olivia Miles, Sonia Citron, Maddie Westbelt. You got 2 players on that team that this their last year eligibility, so they probably gonna want to go out with a bang, and probably put it all on the floor. But UCLA also got Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, but they got a lot of holes in there, and USC exposed them until the championship game where UCLA came back. So my last one, I'm gonna go Notre Dame. Notre Dame got a lot of veterans on their team who gonna leave it all on that floor, who gonna run you up and down. Defense is crazy. But I do hate that they feel like Hannah Hidalgo, your shortest player on the court, got to do everything. Was she 5'6", 5'4"? I don't know. But so my Final Four predictions for women's basketball: UConn, Texas, USC, and Notre Dame. I'm gonna fill out my bracket later. We already did it at work, so I'm gonna do my bracket later. Oh, I don't think we can do one actually. We get fired. If you don't know that and you work in college athletics, well, you know that now. We're not allowed to do any brackets. All right, that was our predictions for women's basketball. We all just seen the selections for men's basketball. I'm gonna let you go and start again for your men's basketball predictions for March Madness.
All right, before I get started for this, I just want to say shout out to Norfolk State men's and women's basketball teams for winning the MEAC and reaching the dance. The green and gold, always representing. But for the men, my Final Four, of course, I got Auburn. I like the way they hoop. They play together as a team. Their coach is crazy, but I like the way they hoop together.
You see what he just said about his point guards?
Yeah.
We can't say the word he said. Go look it up.
Bro, it's crazy. When I was watching, I'm like, did he really just say that? Yeah, but he crazy. So yeah, definitely Auburn. Then Duke, depending on Cooper's Flag's injury, they've been releasing a statement saying that he's definitely going to play in the tournament. So it's going to be interesting because without him, I don't know if they can reach the Final Four. They might win the round of 64 and make it interesting, but going all the way to the big dance, I don't know if they can do that without their best player. So they're our number 3 team, Alabama. They're a sneaky 2 seed that I feel like can make some noise if they get, because especially with their bracket, they can definitely surprise some people. Now with my 4th and final seed, I've been going back and forth with this because I feel like every year in the men's bracket, you always get that Cinderella. You always get that surprise. So it's like, I want to go Florida, but I'm like, you also got to worry about, like, in my opinion, Michigan State is getting hot at the right time. Tennessee is getting hot at the right time. So it's almost, I want to say Florida, but I got some 1Bs and some 1Cs also, because if they, with their bracket, they can run it together. But Tennessee also is a team they just battled for the SEC championship, and it was a good one.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go with Florida. So you got Auburn.
All right.
What I say? Auburn, Duke, Florida. What was my third? I forgot that fast. Alabama, yeah. So who you got?
Ooh. Since we shouting out our schools, you got your bachelor's from Norfolk State. You got your master's from where?
I got my bachelor's from Norfolk State and both of my masters from Liberty.
So why you ain't shout out Liberty? They made it too.
I know they made it. I don't really, like the school. I thought they made it. Congrats to them.
Where's the energy that you just gave Norfolk State?
Go Flames. I know. NSU is in my heart.
All right, I'm gonna shout out my alma mater, VCU. They made it to the tournament. I don't like their bracket. They're going to go against BYU for the first game, which gonna be a tough task for my boys. But we got some guards, but BYU do too. Then shout out to my where I got my master's degree, Mount St. Mary's. I don't like that y'all put them in the same bracket as Duke, you bastards. Why would y'all put them as a 16 seed to go up against American in the Duke bracket where the next game is Duke? Come on.
It's a setup.
If it's a Cinderella, if y'all listen to the last one, I'm a Duke fan. But I'm torn. If they was to play each other, who do I root for?
The team that's gonna win, Duke.
The school that I got my master's degree from, that I spent 2 years at on that campus, or Duke, and I grew up a Duke fan.
The team you willing to bet on?
With the mildest Mount St. Mary's, they ain't getting the level of caliber of player that Duke is. But they got to get past American first. American's good. So it's funny to see a Maryland team go up against a DC team in the tournament. So, and then they're going to Raleigh. If you don't know, Raleigh is right next door to Durham. So it's going to be a lot of Duke fans there. Mostly Duke fans. Because I worked at Duke. Duke travels well. No matter where they go, Duke travels well. So Duke lucked up getting that bracket and basically solidify us to make it to the Final Four, because I don't see nobody stopping us in that bracket. Sorry. Just as a Duke fan and the level of talent, Cooper Flag, come on, Malawach, Con Knipple, Tyrese Proctor, all the good stuff. So I got Duke, Auburn, Janai Broom, between you and Coop. Coop got injured a couple and sat out, but Janai, you got injured too. That's gonna be a tough unanimous. I'll see who was the National Player of the Year. They're probably gonna give it to Coop because he have a bigger following, and you know they always do based on votes. So Duke, Auburn. Unlike you, I'm gonna say Florida for my number 3. Florida's nasty. Florida's a good team.
Man,
I want to say this to the selection committee. Having 14 SEC teams in the tournament is crazy. There's no conference ever doing that.
You know they get all the love. They get the same love in college football too.
The SEC, man, y'all did the right things, adding the right schools. And then lastly, this is going to be tough for that last one. Duke, Auburn, Florida. Hoping a Cinderella get put in that Final Four, like an 8th seed, a 9th seed or something. Or a 2 seed. Nah, 2 seed wouldn't be Cinderella. Dang. What's the last one? I'm struggling over here, man. College basketball has been interesting this year. A lot of upsets, a lot of losing, a lot of teams. They always said the team that wins the national championship might have 6 or 7 losses.
That's gonna be interesting.
I believe Houston can do it, but I'm worried about Houston. Houston, so they have holes too. Fuck it. I'm gonna just go Houston. Houston been a team. Kevin Sampson know what he doing over there. So I'm gonna say Duke, Auburn, Florida, and Houston. The team that the championship game I have Auburn and Duke. The two players who going up against National Player of the Year. 2 teams that have young talent, but also have veteran talent too. But The national championship game will be Auburn and Duke, and I got Duke winning it. John Shire winning the championship after his successor Mike Krzyzewski in 3 years.
That'll be his first one, right?
Yep, his first one, and he only been coaching the Duke Blue Devils for 2 years now. Okay. So that's my Final Four prediction. That's who I want to win. As a Duke fan, I love it. If they win it, I'm gonna get in my car and drive all the way to Durham, North Carolina, be a part of that parade. Get me back in Cameron. Feel free to follow us on Instagram at 5_degrees, correct?
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. We're gonna try to see how it goes and try to create other pages as time goes on. If you want to follow us on our personal pages, you can follow me at Ray Kwanski. That's with 3 I's at the end. What's your handle?
Costco 1.
All right.
Easy.
All right. And before we end every episode, think of something this week that you can tie into motivating the youth to end the episode it's something that we always want to do. That young athlete, that young player, that young kid out there who finds this video. What's something that you can provide the youth today, my brother?
Before I motivate the youth, I want to say this. 2 upsets I'm calling. Nova State men's basketball going to beat Florida. Listen, I just got to say it because I'm a Spartan. And then our girls are going to beat Maryland. I might go to this game because it's in College Park. And why not? It's only an hour away. But as far as motivation for the youth, for young athletes, if you're going to do something, make sure you put your all into it. Don't half-ass it because then you're really just, slowing yourself down. You're not helping yourself achieve what you're really trying to achieve. So whether it's playing a sport or just trying, to, better your grades. If you study, your grades will go up. If you practice how you play, your play will be better. So if you're going to do anything, just go 100%. Don't half-ass it.
Oh, yeah. This week, there's been a lot of words that I've been hearing. I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, a lot of motivational videos. And my motivation to y'all is find your why. Everything you do, find your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Never make your why about money. Make your why about you getting personal goals. That's if you going to the gym, making your why getting stronger. If you going to the track, that's making your why about getting faster. And then if you are looking to take that next level, find what your why is. Or if you're doing this because you love the sport, or you doing this because you just doing it, you passing time. But this is for the youth who not into sports as well. Find what your why is. There's a lot of stuff you can do now to make money or find a career in. Streaming has been one of the top things. So if you're going to stream, find your why you're streaming. If you're going to do social media, find your why on why you're trying to be social media famous. So my message to everybody that's younger than me, I'm 30, and we are at the point in life where we don't even know what the age the youth is. What age you think the youth is? Because apparently 25, you are old head.
Look, it's all crazy. You gotta be. I'm guessing you gotta be in high school and then starting college to be considered a youth. Because if you born in the '90s, we ancient. And from what I've seen, if you born in 2000, you old. So it's like, bruh. So I would say high school going into college.
When you young motherfuckers walk up to me, talk about some what's good, Unc, we're going to have some problems. I'm not Unc yet. That's 35 and older. I'm in my prime right now.
It's respectable to me.
Man, I don't want to be called Unc. I just got in my 30s. Wait till I'm 33, 34, 35. Then call me Unc. Right now, I'm not going to say I'm a YN. You're a hater. But that's the end of our episode for the day. When y'all see this, feel free to comment, like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to do this. Like I said, we're going to try to make it our dates consistent. But, as time goes on, things change. So we're going to try to get y'all a video every week. If we can't, we're going to try it every other week. But we're going to find different sports topics right now. And these are the hot ones right now that's kind of going on right now. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends' friends.
5 degrees.
5 degrees told you to maintain your why and don't half-ass it. We appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all for supporting, and we will catch y'all in the next video.